politics, commentary, entertainment, sports, news, and opinion now. Here is Steve Malzberg.
All right, folks, we are joined right now by our friend, columnist for the Washington Times, Charles Hurt. Hello, sir.
Hey, Steve.
Good to talk to you as always.
Indeed.
You know, I'm glad with all the talk about the IRS and everything else, I'm glad that you wrote about what you wrote about today, and that is the illegal children coming across our border, because you know, it's hard to prioritize and in order of importance.
Which scandal?
Yeah, it really is. I mean, you know, let's not forget the VA, and let's not forget what's going on in Iraq and the threat to our security, and yeah, it goes on and on. But this,
I mean, do you ever remember? I mean, honestly, not to interrupt, but do you remember a time when there was? It's almost dizzying, and it's almost like you can get away with more if you just have so many crazy things going on at one time. Your opponents don't even know what to focus on.
I couldn't agree with you more. It is mind-boggling, and you don't know what to focus on, and that's the problem. So I'm glad you wrote about this in your own unique manner, and it's such an entertaining column, while it is, of course, an important column. And you start by saying death trains rumbling through Mexico, teeming with children, headed for the U.S. border. Teenage girls raped, unspeakable violence at the hands of ruthless coyotes, and carrying out President Obama's stunningly reckless new foreign policy. And this is absolutely true. And you would think that this would be an amazing outrage and steps taken immediately to rectify it, but it just keeps continuing.
Steve, the big-hearted liberals out there, I know people like this, who they would give the shirt off your back, they'll do anything, you know, they drive down the road and they see a little kitten on the side of the road and their heart breaks for it because it's in agony, and they pull over and they bring it home. How do you not look at the carnage on the border right now and see what it's just? It really is a humanitarian crisis at this point, and it is a humanitarian crisis that has been caused by this administration, this president's policy. And now he would argue, well, I haven't stated a policy that says that all these children are going to come here. Well, okay, but that is exactly what you did when you issued this ultimatum across the board that children in the United States would be legalized. Illegal children in the United States would be legalized. The message that was received by all these people across South and Central America and Mexico was that, oh, all we got to do is get there, and we'll be home free. We'll be made citizens. And it was that message that has given them all permission to come and just turn themselves in. And you know, Steve, when they turn themselves in, you know, the Border Patrol, they have nothing that they can do with them. They can't. The reason that they're searching out for other illegals living in the United States to hand these children off to is because they don't know what to do with them. And you know what that means? That just means that many more illegals are just the problem is just compounded even worse, and there's no one to blame but President Obama and his executive action that he promised.
Absolutely, and you know, the proof, part of the proof is this the revelation of this ad that appeared back in January, where they were looking for escorts, if you will,
yeah,
for illegal children in this country. Yeah. And that many say that they were taking out an ad, Homeland Security was taking out an ad in anticipation of what they knew here would happen.
Yeah, and there was a priest, and I've heard this from all corners, there's a priest testifying for Congress today talking about how, this has nothing to do with policies, it all has to do with the violence in Central America. And yes, it does have something to do with the violence in Central America, but that is not why they came here. They might have fled Central America. They might have fled the violence. The reason that they came here, and they will tell you this, the Border Patrol agents, if you interview them and talk to them, that what they tell you is that the people walk up to them and say, "We're here, take us." They're not sneaking across the border. They're flagging down border guards in order to be detained, because they know that the United States policy for detaining illegals just let them roam the country for free. And of course, this leads to all sorts of services that we have to pay for. In terms of schooling and things like that, and if they show up in an emergency room, you can't turn them away. You can't say, oh, you look like you're a Mexican. We're not going to provide you with life-saving treatment. And of course, the ones that then go and commit crimes, then that's doubly expensive in terms of localities having to deal with them.
But Charles, you bring up two great points. I don't want to interrupt you either. But one is, getting on buses. They're getting on buses and planes in this country and being relocated. And as you write about in your column, when the word gets out, when they find out that these kids are headed there, they don't want any part of them, and usually they're canceled. But also the health hazard here. I mean, where are these kids' health records? Your kid or my kid or any kid in this country can't go to school without a record of vaccinations, et cetera. These kids are coming in, so what are we going to do with them? Are we going to revaccinate them? Could you even do that? Do we know what shots they have, what shots they don't, what diseases they might have, how sick they might be? This is a health hazard on top of everything else.
And these are concerns that it's not just hateful, evil, right-wing people are spouting off about. These are President Obama's greatest supporters that are also raising these exact questions. But just a minute ago you said that usually the plans get canceled when localities find out about it. But the truth is we don't know, because the administration is going around sneaking around and quietly trying to place these people all over the country.
Well, I was talking about Chicago and Virginia, as you documented in your piece, but you're right. We don't know what's going on.
So and we only know the ones where the whistle got blown, and then they had to retreat. And of course, Democrats in Congress are quietly doing everything they can to help the White House find these localities. And as you say, once they get exposed, they drop it like a hot potato. But that doesn't mean that they haven't successfully located these aliens all over the place. We have no idea, because they're being so dishonest and so opaque about all of it.
Now, Charles, Hillary said that they got to go back. Now, Obama followed that up a few days later by saying they got to go back. Biden, in between both of them, I think, said something to the effect, and he was in Guatemala, if I'm not mistaken, said most have to go back, which leaves the door open and gives hope to people to keep sending them, because maybe mine will be the lucky one that doesn't go back. But there's no way to go back, because the explanation is if we could match them up with their parents. In other words, reunite them. Where are they going to find the parents?
Exactly. And if they actually mean what they're saying right there, that is the most dramatic reversal of policy that we've ever seen in a government. It's just never happened before. Of course they don't mean that. Of course they have every intention of running out the clock, finding some way to just legalize all these people for pure partisan political reasons, of course, because they think that once these people become naturalized and are allowed to vote, they think that they're going to feel indebted to the Democrats and will always vote Democrat. And so that's the motive going on here. But you can't believe. I mean, if they really are serious about deporting illegals who are here illegally, and if they really are serious about sealing the border and stopping this from going on, then show me the slightest shred of evidence that suggests that they have ever made good on that promise before. I don't think you can find it. And the one excuse, the one thing they point to is they say that they claim that their deportation numbers are up. Well, that's because they took the books and started counting the people that they turned away at the border as deportations. That's not a deportation. They didn't get into the United States. They were at the border and they were stopped. But the administration now counts those as deported, and so that they can inflate their deportation numbers.
You know, Charles, very quickly here, we only got a minute. Mexico's complicit in all this. We know, I've heard horror stories about what they do to people who come across their southern border. They don't treat them very well, let's put it that way. Yet they're letting all this go on, and they're holding our Marine like a dog in prison. It just disgusts me, and of course this president doesn't have the guts to tell Mexico, you know, straighten out or else.
Yeah, and you're exactly right. You know, in a lot of ways, having one neighbor, you know, having this very dangerous, long, difficult border with just one neighbor, it's sort of a blessing for us. And the idea that we do not have a president who can deal with that one country, that one neighbor, to figure this out is, you know, just too bad.
Charles, we're out of time, but he doesn't want to figure it out, I think is the answer. Hey, thank you, sir. We'll see you in a few weeks. Thank you very much, Charles.
Thanks, Steve.
Take care. We're coming back, folks. Give me 5.